and I would say things. The worst that can happen is now you would say something for which you would have to apologize, and I would never forgive myself if I said something so ugly that somebody would say, she got to. And as I've said before, it's like painting the Golden Gate Bridge. As soon as you're done, you got to start all over, and it would be the same night after night after night after night.
Just got back from visiting President Trump in his cell. He's fine, he's doing great, and he mentioned to me to mention to all of you folks, keep the money flowing in.
Remember when Trump thought being president was like hosting The Apprentice? Boy, was he in for a surprise. Letterman's got the scoop on how Trump's face went from "you're fired" to "I'm hired" faster than you can say "Cov Fifi." Turns out, running the country isn't as easy as firing Gary Busey. Who knew? Stick around as we watch Trump realize the Oval Office isn't just a fancy TV set, and the Constitution isn't just a prop he can toss aside when it doesn't fit the script. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Remember that night when Trump's face was more orange than a Cheeto in a tanning bed? Yeah, that was election night 2016. Our favorite reality TV boss strutted into his victory party like he owned the place. Well, technically he did, but that's beside the point.
And you would call him a slumlord?
Yes, we'd tease him about being a slumlord, and he would just laugh and laugh and laugh. Turned out it was all true.
Yeah.
Turns out that was the least of it.
That was the least of his problems, yeah.
Even with other presidents that I've disagreed with, politically, I felt like, okay, I can live with their representation. As an American, I don't like this man as a president of our country. I love being an American, but I don't feel he represents me, and I don't like that.
As the results started rolling in, something weird happened. Trump's smug grin began to melt faster than ice cream on a hot sidewalk. It was like watching a kid who just realized he accidentally volunteered to give a book report on a book he never read. Now, David Letterman, the king of late-night zingers, had a field day with this. He said Trump looked like he'd just swallowed a lemon. But not just any lemon, folks. We're talking about a really big presidency-shaped lemon. The kind that makes your face pucker up so hard you look like you're trying to whistle and frown at the same time. You see, winning wasn't part of Trump's grand plan. Oops, it's like he showed up to complain about the coffee in the break room and accidentally became CEO. The man who kept saying, "I alone can fix it," suddenly realized he actually had to, fix stuff. Real stuff. Important stuff. Not just firing D-list celebrities on TV. As the night wore on, you could almost see the wheels turning in Trump's head. His expression went from, "I've got this," to, "Oh no, what have I done?" faster than you can say, "Cov Fef." It was like watching a cat who finally caught the red dot and had no idea what to do next. Trump probably wished he could fire himself from this new gig. But unfortunately for him, being president isn't like a reality show. You can't just point at the camera and say, "America, you're fired," and walk away. Nope, he was stuck with a job like gum on the bottom of his very expensive shoes. So there he was, Mr. Make America Great Again. Looking like he'd just been told he had to make America great again for real. No scripts, no rehearsals, just actual governing. Talk about a plot twist. Remember when Trump thought being president was just like hosting a reality show? Well, turns out the White House isn't equipped with a laugh track or commercial breaks.
That was pre-presidential Trumpy, and now he's convict Trumpy.
Michael
He's
Cohen
doing hard time.
used to yell at some of our staff.
Yeah, he would call up and threaten our staff.
That's
Those
right.
were the days,
That
weren't
was
they?
fun.
Yeah.
Well, let's just stop yakking about what a goonie is.
How would you approach it?
My approach would have been head on, and probably inelegant. Probably really inelegant.
So far, he's a model prisoner.
That's great.
Yeah, good to hear.
That is good to hear.
Yeah. Did you see they let him out of the courtroom, had his hands zip tied?
Our commander-in-tweet was about to get a reality check that would make even the toughest Apprentice challenge look like a walk in the park. Letterman, always ready with a zinger, hit the nail on the head when he said, "It's like Trump thought he was signing up for another season of The Apprentice, but ended up on Survivor White House Edition instead." Talk about a plot twist. The Donald went from firing people on TV to trying to hire an entire administration. Spoiler alert, it didn't go as smoothly as his hair on a windless day. Remember how Trump kept bragging about being the ultimate deal maker? Well, according to Letterman, when he actually got the job, it was like watching a cat that finally caught the laser pointer totally confused and not sure what to do next. Meow, that's gotta hurt. Turns out running a country isn't quite the same as running a casino into the ground. Who knew? Trump strutted into the Oval Office like he owned the place, which technically he kind of did for 4 years. But he quickly realized that being president isn't just about tweeting and golfing. Shocking, right? Letterman couldn't help but notice that Trump seemed a bit lost, saying, "Imagine that the guy who's famous for saying, 'You're fired' on national TV couldn't quit the biggest job in the world."
But I'm sick and tired of everybody wringing their hands about this. Oh my God, did you hear what he did? Okay, let's just settle this at the next election, you know.
Since you left late night, as we talked about whether or not you miss it, there's a new president of the United States, you may have noticed. Do you miss being on late night for that fact?
No, because, well, first of all, the people who are in charge now do a really good job.
In front of him because they couldn't have cuffs to fit his big fat wrists. Big puffy wrists, so they had to zip tie him. But he's fine, he said to say hi to everybody.
You guys go way back, you and Trumpy.
Yeah, he used to be on the show all the time.
All the time.
Talk about job security. But wait, it gets better. Trump, the self-proclaimed fixer of all things America, found out that you can't just tweet laws into existence. Letterman quipped, Trump spent his entire campaign shouting from the rooftops about how he alone could fix America's problems. But once he got into office, it was more like, wait, what do you mean I can't just tweet laws into existence? Turns out there's this pesky thing called the Constitution that kept getting in the way of his grand plans. And let's not forget about Trump's infamous search for the easy button. Letterman nailed it when he said, it's like he was always looking for the easy button but kept hitting nuclear war by mistake. Oops, who knew being the leader of the free world would be so complicated? Certainly not Trump, who probably thought the nuclear codes were just the Wi-Fi password for Mar-a-Lago. Letterman's got a point about comedy and politics. It's like he's found a way to make boring government stuff as fun as watching paint dry in a tornado. Turns out people who watch late-night comedy shows are more likely to get off their couches and actually do something political. Who knew? Maybe laughter is the secret sauce to getting folks involved in democracy. But here's the kicker. Trump's journey from TV boss to accidental president is like watching a kid who cheated on his book report suddenly become the school principal. Oops, next time you hear someone say, "I alone can fix it," remember, sometimes the fixer needs a good fixing too. It's like trying to fix a leaky roof with a banana peel. It might look funny, but it's not going to work. As Letterman might say, the sun still rises in the east, no matter who's tweeting from the White House. And let's face it, whether it's Kov or actual policy, we're all just along for the ride in this political circus. So grab your popcorn, folks. This show's far from over.